And we are back for another fun-filled episode of John Crump Live. And of course, you know who I am. My name is John Crump, or I hope you do, because you're watching John Crump Live, and you should figure I'm John Crump. But here we go.
From the Black Swan Media Studios, deep inside a secret underground bunker, we're speaking to freedom-loving patriots from all around the country and the world. Welcome to the Resistance. This is John Crump Live.
And we are live back today, and I'm joined by my esteemed co-host, Flying Rich, and we're going to jump right into this because we have some very, very important people from one of our favorite companies, PSA, the company that fights for freedom, and they're going to be coming on, and they're going to be talking about their new products coming out, and we'll get to try to pick their brain and try to get to the bottom of some of the stuff that they don't want us to know with products.
Grumpy, where's your stormtrooper log?
It's in the other room. Well, all right, so let's go ahead and bring on Josiah, and we have Justin. Josiah is one of the two brothers from PSA, and Justin is, I guess he runs the product lines, right?
Yep, I do the marketing.
Marketing, yeah. So you do all the marketing for all the different products. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well.
In beautiful South Carolina, which is a wonderful place to be.
A free state?
Yeah, Justin's at, which way is he? He's in the nicer part of, he's on the coast in the Charleston area. I'm stuck in the armpit of state. Yeah, so.
I love Charleston. Charleston is beautiful.
It is near the beach, Isle of Palms. It's a beautiful area.
Yeah, I'm in a beautiful area called the DC suburbs. So, all right, let's just jump into it. We're gonna mainly focus on products here, and you guys have been killing it lately with different products. You guys, but actually, before we get to that, let's go ahead and back up a little bit. How did PSA start?
So PSA started, it was my brother and I, make a long story short, he and I have been talking for a while about starting a company, and we always wanted to start something. We didn't know what it would be. We threw out ideas, and this was for about a year or so. And then he got deployed to Iraq and came back, and he was an accountant before he went to Iraq, and he had a traumatic brain injury, and nothing that, just prevented him from nothing major other than preventing him from being able to concentrate as well. So he was struggling to concentrate, and I was up working in retail management up in Pennsylvania, and retail management sucks. And so we were like, screw it, let's start something. So we came down South Carolina and started selling magazines and then ammunition. That started out as 4-car garage. It took off. I mean, when Obama got elected, and we were selling, we would get in one pallet of Magpul PMags a week. We get in 1 or 2 pallets of PMC a week, and all other products, and it would just sell out within 15 minutes. And that's kind of how we got our name out there. And then on one of those pallets, and this is how we got to manufacturing, and I'll leave it there, is we got, instead of a box of PMags, we got a box of buffer tubes, and we were like, we know what these are for. So we kind of, back in the day, this was back in 2008, 2009 timeframe. Now you can research and find out where each parts of the AR actually are manufactured versus resellers. So we kind of cracked the code back then and figured out where all the parts of the AR came from, and that's how we started assembling ARs. But then as elections and different things happen, crisis in the world, when you get into a panic, you would get cut off and pinched off, whether it be by barrel manufacturers or manufacturers of any part. And that's when my brother was like, screw it, let's go vertical. And that's where he started his idea of vertical integration of actually, manufacturing the barrels. We have our own forge up in Charlotte. We're making uppers and lowers and all kinds of stuff. So that's what started the idea of actually manufacturing was that misshipment of buffer tubes. So, and then and off of that 4-car garage, within it was about a year in, we were able to buy a 40,000 square foot warehouse with 18 offices in the front. And then we knocked down those 18 offices, made our first store, and then everything is history from there.
Oh, wow. Wow.
That is
So happy
awesome.
accident.
Yep.
That is really awesome. It usually businesses, not usually, but a lot of times, a lot of businesses start that way. That was Jordan Vinro. He runs Gideon Optics. What else did he run? Patmo Slides, PR Triggers, Eagle Shows, JFD Supply, and a bunch of other companies. I guess he was expecting a call today.
It sounded like from Dorian. Dorian's
a busy guy.
so
He'll get in
sorry.
contact with you. He's a man of his word.
Yeah, that's good. So you guys started out, and you guys have a lot of AR-15s on the market. Your AR-15s are quality, but price-wise, they are affordable, which is great. But now it seems like you guys are getting into a little bit of the higher end stuff.
Yep. Good, Justin. I'll let you talk about that.
So we're getting into the higher end stuff, but if you'll notice, the pricing on the higher end stuff is still at an affordable cost for what you're getting. So our whole goal was we had a lot of people asking for a higher end rifle that would compete more with the mid tier and the higher tier stuff. So what we did is we took note of, we have a number of Facebook groups that we interact with our customers from. So we kind of took note from those and saw the most common upgrades our customers were doing to their rifles. And we basically made a package where we did that from the factory to begin with. And that's kind of our Saber line, as we went and looked at the most common upgrades, which is typically ambi safety selector, upgraded trigger, upgraded charging handle, upgraded buffer, and buffer springs. So we took all that and put it into a package, and we're able to offer it to the consumer at cheaper than what they can price everything together at. So you still get a tremendous value while getting a high quality AR with all the upgrades you're going to do anyways.
Yeah, that sounds amazing of how you do. I've shot a lot of your stuff and some of your higher end stuff, because you have something that's kind of like a SCAR that shoots. Actually, kind of prefer it to the SCAR. Actually, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, the Jackal. So we've expanded into a lot of different areas now. Is what we're doing is coming up with our own platforms, and the Jackal was kind of the first and most popular of that. And it's a long stroke piston gun, so it's super flat shooting.
Oh yeah, it was. The first time I shot it was down at the gathering, and I fell in love with it. The value is there, and one of the things I like about the value of your stuff is it allows a lot of people to get into the hobby, to get into the life.
Yep. There's a lot of folks who have to save up $50 a week in order to be able, saving up for their next gun and stuff. And our goal, and my brother's goal, I should say, is to, make that barrier to entry a lot lower than it is with a lot of other companies, whether it be the 5.7 Rock, the Dagger, all this new stuff we're coming out with, the Jackal, the Sabers, some higher end stuff like the Saber, just making the cost entry a lot lower.
The 5.7 Rock,
that I was like jonesing for. So I'm a little bit of a 5.7 nut job. I have most 5.7 guns ever built, and I hate to say it, the FN 5.7 pistol, Ruger was the first one to come out with a 5.7, and then not too long after that, you came out with yours, and I gotta say, I definitely like that. I think I like it better than the FN 5.7. One,
the ergonomics on it are really good.
The grip isn't as monstrous. You got the optics plate. The optics. Literally, I put an optic on yours while I was doing the podcast with John one day. It came with all the screws, the plates between the Gideon optic and your slide boom. Threaded barrel, really, you're doing some really nice stuff with that.
And we're taking kind of, the with ARs, it's kind of Legos for adults. And what we're doing is we're taking the same thing, even with the rocks, you can buy, a slide frame, barrels, you can kind of do whatever you want. Dagger, exact same thing. Whether if you want to if you have a compact dagger, which is the first one that we launched, and you want to get the compact S that takes the 17 round magazines and just make it into a gun that'll hold a few more rounds, or you want to make a longer slide, or it's Legos for adults applied to the pistol side, which really hasn't been done that much up until now.
Yeah. Oh, I just love it. I mean, my eyes are getting bad since I got the FN57. I can't, iron sights, I can't shoot that anymore. Everything I need has to have an optic on it to use it. So that's the rock line. All right. So my rock was a quote unquote blem. Where's the blem on it?
There probably wasn't one.
I'm like, are you just throwing them across the floor and say, okay, that's for sale now?
That's the way Josiah touches. If he puts the ick on them, we sell them as well.
Yeah.
It had the cooties.
Anything with a disease now because I touched it. Yeah, thanks, Justin.
It's got the Josiah touch.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking.
Those should be sold for more. Graced with my presence.
Yeah. Somebody's asking, are you guys coming out with the G36 clone?
It's probably on a whiteboard somewhere, but it's not in development.
It's not development.
Many whiteboards with many ideas.
Yeah, there's a lot of whiteboards.
How do you come up with the ideas?
All the ideas mainly come from my brother's mind. People don't realize that. These are all my brother's ideas. My brother is, I wouldn't say he's a genius. I'm his little brother, so I don't want to compliment him too much, but he's pretty smart.
He might go to his head.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There is a lot of really cool guns. One that I keep on getting asked about is the PSA STG 44 that was displayed at SHOT.
Oh yeah, Walter Keller's all waiting for that.
Yeah.
What's up with that? Where's it at?
Justin, I'll let you tackle the STG question.
Yeah, so the STG, we introduced it at SHOT Show last year. So since SHOT Show, we've set up the machines of manufacturing some of the parts, well, all the parts really, and we're trying to get to where we can consistently build them and have them be reliable. But it's a lot different than building AR-15. So we're just working through the kinks of building them repetitively and building them the same way every time and getting them to the standards we want to keep them to.
Yeah, the STG 44 is my favorite gun of all time.
So when you're introducing a new product like the STG 44, how many iterations do you go through? Like, how many guns exist before you're like, okay, we got the process down, we're ready to go?
Boy, that's a loaded question.
And where's your dumpster?
Yeah, it all depends on the product. I mean, they take, Justin, I don't know if you want to talk about this, but I know they take X number of, in the final stage, this is the final stage, they take X number of guns and they say, all right, so on the furthest out, we're going to take these to, 3,000, these to 10,000, these to 20. It's just kind of that's on like the very final, but there's a lot of iterations before that where they're working out things like with the STG, they did a change to the bolt, to make a run a little bit better and stuff. And as you do keep doing that, you find out little things along the way that might happen and make adjustments and stuff. So it just all depends on the firearm really and how complicated it is.
So I'm assuming there's a couple of different phases. So there's, your production process, how to optimize that and make sure, your quality standard is repeatable. And then there's like, hey, taking that gun to 10,000 rounds to make sure it actually works.
Yeah, and that's more the engineering side. Justin and I don't deal too much with the engineering. I would really, if I were to comment on exactly, the process on that, I mean, we could guess and speculate, but
Mhm.
I work on, the digital, so, digital marketing side. So
Mhm.
I don't know. We would have to leave that to the engineers to talk about.
Gotcha. I'm just interested how that stuff works.
Yeah. No, it's a valid question. It's legit. Yeah. I just don't know the
Now,
exact answer.
and not like this has one thing to do with the other, but Brandon Herrera is building the 50 caliber AK, 50 BMG AK, and he found, hey, 3D printing parts enables him to envision how things work together.
Mhm.
Are you doing more 3D printing? I saw it with the 5.7 that you're talking about coming out with. That was at shop, but it was 3D printed.
Yeah, we do a lot of 3D printing, both on functional and non-functional parts. It's a great way to test a litany of things. It's even gotten to the point now that you can do basic function testing with 3D printed parts, even on critical components. You're not going to get a high round count out of them, but you can definitely test theories from 3D printed parts. It's something we use all the time.
And when you say 3D printed, are we talking about like carbon fiber nylon, or are we talking about a metal 3D printer?
That's above my head.
That's engineering.
I mean, they've got a bunch of 3D printers. I don't know what they're doing, but
they're like, oh, we don't know too much about the manufacturing. And Rich was like, okay,
and I'm asking all manufacturing questions. All right.
So what kind of materials in your 3D? No, I don't know, but we use 3D printed parts. It saves you, back in the day, you'd have to come up with a print and then you'd have to send it to a machine shop, wait 2 months or whatever. That part finally comes back and then it doesn't work and you have to go back. So now we can 3D print that part, test everything. You could even shoot it sometimes, and then you can send it to the machine shop and say, okay, now we'll send it to the machine shop, test it. Then we can start durability testing and figure out which material we want to make it out of, or how easy it is to make it out of, on a certain machine. I mean, it's really great to have 3D printing as a tool.
Is there anything new coming out that we don't know about that you would like to tell the audience? I have to try.
I mean, a lot of people know we're coming out with a Steelcase 762x39. That's coming out on May 3rd.
May 3rd,
Friday.
Friday. A lot of people.
Oh, okay.
Now I know 2A EDU is chomping at the bit to get his hands on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there's a huge potential for that, because a lot of people are clamoring for that, and with all like the sanctions and everything else, and just countries not shipping stuff over, that seems to be something that you can make a lot of money on.
Now, for Steelcase ammo, how's the pricing going to be?
Good question. I don't know, Justin, if you can comment. I'm not sure on that one.
I don't have pricing yet.
Yeah.
It's got to be the same as everything we do. Very competitive.
Yeah.
Speaking of
there's 2A EDU, and I may or may not have sent him a box of each of there's two different loads that we have in the Steelcase 762x39. It's it's in route to him, so he's going to be the first one to actually get to play with it.
Cool.
So I stole 2 boxes and sent it off to him. So he's probably going to be the first one you're going to want to go to.
Nice. I'm going to definitely have to check that out. So we got another question about the 545x39s.
So that'll come
the guns
next.
Or the ammo.
The ammo. I think.
Ammo.
Yeah, so that'll be our next project as far as Steelcase goes. Once we can get up to a point where we're keeping up with production on 762x39, either get to a point where we can keep up with production and can turn some machines over to 545, or buy more machines, whichever comes first. But that'll be our next step in the process.
Yeah, not a big fan of 545, but there's a lot of people that are.
Oh, people are nuts about 545.
Yep.
Yeah. So I just not for me.
And when we make the manufacturer the crank in 545, we're gonna need to feed those animals too. So.
Yeah, the crank is kind of cool. I saw that, and I almost pulled the trigger on buying one, but then my water heater died, my air conditioning unit died, and my furnace
Those
died.
are nothing but stupid excuses, John. Just buy it.
Yeah.
Just buy it.
Yeah, like when it's like every part of my house just like broke at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been
I
down.
just
How old is
fired
your
him.
house?
Yeah.
My
got
house,
money.
2011, it was built. No.
Oh gosh. Wow. So the roof's falling in on this place anytime now.
Yeah. No, I'm a poor little schoolboy, whatever.
Mhm.
Whatever that.
Yeah,
that
John lives in the bad part of town.
I do live in a bad part of town. The second worst part of town in my
Yeah.
neighborhood.
Now, Sebastian Gorka lives in the house next to you or across the street?
No.
Oh,
Whatever.
he's in the good part of town, is what you're saying?
Yeah, whatever, Rich. I live in Palm Beach.
Whoa. I live on a dirt road with the rednecks in Palm Beach who shoot in their backyard along with me.
Sebastian Gorka is a good guy. I talk to him sometimes. He's a freedom loving. He's really a good guy.
Yeah, he goes to the same shooting range I do.
Does he? Yep.
Yeah, ex-Cal. He's a member there.
Yeah, he's a very, very good guy. Very smart.
So-
very, very well versed in media and the 2A industry.
Now, you've met some kind of important people in your career, haven't you?
Yeah, you get to meet some. Justin does as well, but or which way do I point with my head that way? I guess opposite.
Always the opposite way of what you think.
Yeah,
Hold
exactly.
on, Josiah. Who have you met?
What's that?
I said, who have you met?
Who have I met? Well, Sebastian Gorka. He's pretty famous.
He's a pretty cool dude.
So, but no, I haven't met anybody that famous. So I'm just playing around. But no, but Sebastian is a good guy.
Really? Nobody shopping at your store?
Well, I don't think he was there.
Oh, that was my brother and that
was your brother,
Julie, and they got to meet Trump. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I was there, but I wasn't allowed within 50 yards.
I got to say, I've been in that store and I was watching that. I was laughing through the whole thing. I was like, yeah. That was so much fun.
Yeah, and then he grabbed the gun with the not grabbed, but they handed him the gun with his image on it. He absolutely loved that. And just in case anybody's watching the show, no, he did not buy it.
Yeah, I went to one PSA store in my life because I'm kind of far away and never near PSA stores, and I just happened to run into Dark, who was my neighbor, at a PSA store.
Which one?
The one in Greenville.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, cool.
Must have been for the gathering.
Yeah, the gathering. Yep. I was flying back.
Yeah.
We flew into Greenville, and I was flying back out of Greenville, and Dark was driving back, and we just both ended up at the same store. So I had to buy a couple of shirts and stuff like that to support the cause.
Cool, good stuff.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah, you guys have made a huge difference in a lot of people's lives. You've gotten people into firearms that they wouldn't have gotten into. And not only that, but one of the things I like about PSA is that PSA gear actually runs. There's a lot of cheap gear out there that do not run. One of the things that is very affordable, but yet very reliable is the Dagger line.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is really cool. Now you guys
have it is. It's really, for cheap, it's what, $249. Buy a slide, buy a frame on, with free shipping and stuff. You can $249. It's a good deal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then you can Gucci out because Justin's team, they came out with hey Mike, Justin's team just came out with the Gucci version, which the Saber Dagger, which that's you're competing on a $600 to $600-ish level to guns that are triple the price point. I don't know if Justin, if you want to talk about the Saber Daggers, what they are.
Yeah, the Saber Dagger, it really is a way to get just a custom firearm from the beginning. The beauty is it's really stuff that a lot of people do to their daggers or their Glocks when they get it, like stippling and upgraded trigger, an upgraded slide. So the slides are, a partnership we have with Zephyr Precision. So it's a company a lot of people are running to anyways to upgrade their slides and their barrels. The beauty of it is, though, is you get all those upgrades and you still get the lifetime warranty instead of when you buy parts and start piecing stuff together, you don't get any kind of warranty. So the beauty of this is you get a fully upgraded dagger and you get the lifetime warranty included.
Now, I'm assuming that's laser stippling because you can't be doing that by hand, right?
Yep, that is laser stippling and then Cerakote on the frame as well.
And every single one is out of stock.
Yeah, I was going to say, my only problem with it is that they're all out of stock all the time.
Yeah, those sold out a lot quicker than we expected them to.
Yeah, it's a newer product, so it's going to be in and out. Eventually, it'll be just like the cranks. Cranks are hanging out a little bit more on the website each time, but it'll get there.
Well, I remember when the dagger, I set an alarm for when the dagger went for sale, and I just bought a car in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I was driving back. My wife was driving, and I intentionally planned that. And I went on the website, and I paused. I guess I wasn't quick enough to pick one up, and they were sold out.
Yeah.
I will tell you the truth. I have a bunch of daggers, not complete daggers, but a lot of daggers without slides because you guys kept on pinning them up for cheap. The complete, the
$60 slide or $60 frame.
Yeah. Every time I saw it, I'm like, I just gotta pick it up just in case.
That's a
I think they were even $49.
Yeah.
Just like AR lowers. Back
I was gonna say that and the
got
lowers.
AR lowers now, but I mean, yeah, they're an investment. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
a bunch of PSA AR lowers. Every time you come out with a new design, you guys get me. It's like one of those things.
Were you lasering those lowers, or are you doing CNC work for those lowers? Because you were doing a bunch of meme lowers.
The meme lowers just all depend on where it was made at. We have 2 facilities that we make lowers at. One is down in Florida, and one's in close to where Justin is in Charleston. A lot of it's laser engraved, but there is some that's not, but most of it, majority is laser engraved.
Yeah. And that's really cool. The designs on those, who comes up with those designs?
Okay, so those designs came off of a thread on AR15.com. We had a customer who he made a bunch of false. So he ordered like it was a Thursday or he ordered on a Wednesday, and he lived in Oregon, and he posted on on a Saturday. So he lived in Oregon. It's 5 business days. He ordered a case of ammo. I remember. I mean, this was like 7 years ago. I remember very specifically details, but I'll keep it as brief as possible. But he ordered case of ammo on a Wednesday, couldn't ship until Thursday, and he posted on Friday on AR15.com that he hadn't received his order yet. And then we found out details, and he called all of them a bunch of poop flinging gremlins and stuff for coming at him because everybody was defending us. And they asked us to make a poop flinging gremlin lower, so we made the gremlin lower, and then they came up with other ideas out of that, and that's where it stemmed from. Was this guy named Hebrew Battle Rifle on AR15.com who was trying to make us look bad and turn. But anyway, that's where it came from.
Wait, is that the Pew Pew Jew pseudonym?
I hope not. If he is, I have a bone to pick with him. Actually, he would have made us a lot of money.
Let me ask you a question. With the advent of the Amazon same day delivery mentality, I'm in the redneck part of Palm Beach, but there's an Amazon where I think there's 2 like within 5 miles of me. I literally can order something and get it later in the day. Is that a problem with you guys that people are ordering? They're like, it's not here yet.
Unrealistic expectations.
Good.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like a major problem, but you definitely do see a lot of customers whose mentality changes since Amazon's been doing that. But I mean, most of them, will understand once you explain it. But I mean, when I was growing, I'm only 26, but when I was growing up, I mean, if you ordered something on the internet, it was 30 days, to
yeah.
your house. A lot of the time it was like a guessing game too. There was no tracking or anything. So, even now that we can get a gun to your FFL within 10 days is a pretty big accomplishment, but a lot of people just don't understand that. A lot of people don't understand how many orders we have coming through every day either.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
and some people, I would say it's less often than it is, an issue, but it comes up.
And when you folks come on like Supercell, you probably sell a lot, and it's going to take a lot of time to get those shipped out because you have a great deal on something like the PTRs that you guys just had a deal on.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
that's another deal.
Yeah, and let me just call out as far as shipping. I always point people, if you look at our terms and conditions, we always point people there. Typically you can expect your order to ship within 5 to 7 business days. Unfortunately, we're not Amazon, and then it goes on with the exceptions and stuff, here and there, and stuff. But it's, but I wish we could have an Amazon type shipping, but unfortunately, can't.
Yeah, it's not realistic. Amazon owns the whole entire thing, all the way down to the last mile.
Yeah.
So that kind of is how they can do it.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things where people have to understand. But with Amazon, they'll probably give it to Moms Demand Action, where you guys give it to like organizations like Gun Owners of America and other organizations like that. So your money actually goes back into the community.
Yep, absolutely. And we do a lot of I don't want to go too into depth on this one, but we fight. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's called FRAC, FRAC. Your viewers, if you look it up, it's we're not asking for money right now. We're not doing that. We're just letting you know, on the back end, we're taking money that money that we make, and we're putting in a lot of money. I can't say how much, but it's a lot. And you'd be surprised how much every year we're putting in a lot of money into fighting what's going on. But we do it behind the scenes, and we don't talk about it too much.
Yeah.
We just know that we're fighting these gun grabbers.
It's a good organization. I know Mike Bossett pretty well, and Travis over there, and they're really good guys.
And we also do donate to Gun Owners of America and some others as well.
Yeah, you probably deal with Kaylee over at Gun Owners of America.
Yep, Kaylee Neiman.
Yeah, she is a rock star when it comes to building relationships.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, we do with Kaylee, with Stephen Williford, and a bunch of others.
Yeah, Stephen's a good guy. I know Stephen pretty well. It's a good friend of mine. In fact, that's how Stephen got hooked up with GOA.
Yeah.
But yeah, Stephen's a good guy. Kaylee's a great person as well. I can't say enough about those guys over there, and it's awesome that companies like PSA are working with them. So when you spend your dollars at PSA, you can make sure that some of that goes back into fighting for your rights, and that's what we need. We need to back companies that back us.
Amen.
Absolutely.
All right, we got a question here. What about KUSA?
We in the 2A industry, what you got to realize is that we're all in it for the same purpose. So anytime there's rumors of any company going under, it sucks. It's horrible. I don't know what's going on at KUSA, and I hope that they're not going under.
I think they are.
But it doesn't. In the 2A industry, we all need to stick together. And I have nothing bad to say about KUSA. And I hope if they are going under, that sucks. I've heard rumors and stuff, but I hope that they're not.
Yeah.
So is that an opportunity?
That's above my pay grade.
Yeah. So when you guys started making AR-15s, and then you guys started making AKs, what caused that jump over to the AK side? Was it just you saw a market for it, or?
Good question. Yeah, my brother, he always was more of an AK fan than he was a an AR fan. Growing up, we shot Edelman Sporting Goods in Pennsylvania was owned by Leslie Edelman, who owns Kimber, and just growing up, we would buy AKs and SKSs from there. I remember buying my first SKS when I was 18, when I could first buy a gun, and I think it was $79 back in the day.
Ooh.
But we always were, we owned cases and cases of 7.62 by 39. I was back, when I was $99 or less, for a case of 1,000. And Jamin really got into, when he was in the military, learning about, the M16 and, how it operates. And obviously it's different, AR-15, you're not burst full auto, so it carried over into his personal life, and he learned a lot about it. And so ARs were just a little bit natural to get into. But his original love was the AK platform.
So that's cool. So I thought that you were going to say that, you started out with the ARs and started getting into the AK, the love of the AKs, but it seems like it was kind of reversed in this case.
It was already there. Yeah. The love of the AK was already there. Yep. But, and one thing that really helped us was, as far as the beginning of the business, this is kind of a rabbit trail, but was the assault weapons ban had expired, and there really hadn't been, because Bush was in office, there hadn't been a panic, like that first, when the assault weapons ban expired and you could own, standard capacity magazines, there hadn't been a panic yet. And then when Obama got elected, that's when everybody freaked out, realizing they could now own the stuff and hadn't gone and spent the money on it. I think we maxed out a lot of people's credit cards too. But
so we talked a little bit before we went live about how you monitor the sales and adjust your production. Is there, other than the numbers of who's browsing a product or what's in whose cart, and did they check out with that, do you monitor social events to figure out, hey, this is going on, we should ramp up product X because this event is happening?
Yeah, political things going on in the world, absolutely. It naturally, you can see sales trends, and you're like, all right, we need to tick up manufacturing on X or Y and go down on Z.
Yeah, during the panic, the Obama panic, there was a lot of companies, online companies, I'm not going to name any of them, that skyrocketed their price. Like
$100 for like a Glock 19 mag or 17 mag and P mag, and
yeah, you guys didn't do that. I mean, of course, all prices went up because demand, but you guys didn't.
The highest price we ever sold a P mag for was $15.99. That was the highest.
Wow.
But there was a company, and I'm sure people in the chat are screaming at the top of their lungs because they got kind of famous for that, because they're selling $100 P mags.
Yep.
Yeah, that's and I've called companies out. They're selling an AR that would be going for $500 any day of the week. They're selling them for $2,000, and the guy said, well, if I sell it for $500, somebody was just going to turn around and sell it for $2,000. I'm like, yeah, but then you're not a D-bag,
Yeah, I owned a gun store at the time, and I kept my prices reasonable. I mean, I sold out like really, really quick because I kept my prices reasonable, but I just didn't want to rake over the people. What went into your thinking of not taking advantage of it and skyrocketing prices?
Repeat customers.
Bing.
Reputation. You want people coming back to you. So people understand supply and demand, but rape is a different idea.
Yeah. And people still remember that other company. In fact, it's popped up already.
No, they don't get my business.
Yeah, and people, I mean, that was years and years ago. I think that was a bad business move. Because people remember that, and now the prices have returned to normal or actually down a little bit. People aren't going there. It's loyal. It's brand loyalty, and you guys have a lot of brand loyalty.
Oh, absolutely.
How did you guys develop that brand loyalty with people besides keeping prices?
Customer service has always been and I don't mean like I'm not talking about traditional customer service. We started off on our main mode of it's customer interaction.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of these other companies, like we've got like probably at least 10 Facebook groups that even Jamin is my brother, CEO of this company is going into these Facebook groups. I monitor ARFCOM, AR15.com on a daily basis. We've got Twitter, Neil is doing not nothing, but his main focus is on Twitter. We've got people all over the place, and we're interacting with the customers, and that goes a long way versus just ignoring them. And when there is an issue or a perceived issue, it may actually be it's not always the customer, but sometimes there's customers, sometimes it's us. We hop on it, take care of them, and it goes a long way when people see that.
Yeah, that it does. It's that is one of the reasons why people shop at PSA. And
I'm waiting for Night Strike to make fun of me on the perceived issue.
There's also there's not another company, I don't think, where you can go on a random YouTube video and comment, my PSA doesn't work, and you will get a message from somebody at the company saying, hey, please contact me at I've done it. I'll put my email in YouTube and say, hey, send me an email. I'll get you taken care of. And that's not even on our videos. That is on random videos that sometimes aren't even PSA guns. I've commented on whatever. If they mention a PSA, you'll always have somebody in the comments, yeah, but mine doesn't work. And then I'll reach out to people. Cameron will reach out to people. Josiah will reach out to people. I mean, we take care of people that don't even reach out. We're trying to help people out.
Everyone's giving Rich a hard time. Rich bought a Stormtrooper AUG from PSA, and he was talking to Dark, and it was like, "Oh, it's marked up. I got it marked up. I don't understand it. I usually get really great stuff from there." And Dark's like, "Well, you shot it, right?" He's, yeah. He's like, "Are you sure that's not the rounds hitting it?" And
so I actually printed a casing deflector.
Yeah,
just like an AR casing deflector.
No, it's definitely not. It's definitely not. Then Dark's over at my house because we live relatively close together, and he's like, "Oh, you got one of these too?" I was like, "Yeah, I got it before Rich." And he picked it up, and he's like, "What's this mark from?" I'm like, "That's where the cases bounce off." and Mark, and Dark's like, "We have to call Rich right now
for an intervention." I already clicked send on messaging Josiah. I'm like, "Hey, this isn't a blem, but it's got a blem on it."
Yeah, it was funny because he's like, when you said it wasn't the case that's hitting that, and Richard's like, yeah. He's like, I'm over at John's house, and he has the same exact mark. And John, tell him what you told me. It's like, that's where the case comes out and hits the AUG.
Yeah. Apparently they fire 3 rounds out of the AUG, and there's 3 marks in the back on every one.
We get the same thing. Every gun, whether for pistols, it's even the frames and the slides are all test fired. Every gun, except for strip lowers and complete lowers, gets test fired before it goes out of PSA's facility. And so we get comments like, "Hey, why are there marks on my shell deflector?" It's proof that we test fired your gun. Every gun gets test fired no matter what. So, but yeah, it's a common question that I see every week.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I'd rather get a gun that have a couple marks from the cases deflecting off of it than getting a gun that doesn't work.
Yep. 100%.
One Car Fast says, when is H&R coming out with M16 LMG?
That's going to be a little ways away. Mike Wetland would be a better person to speak to, but I know the molding process alone is going to take months on that for the handguard because nobody makes the handguard, so it'd be us coming up with a new mold, and plastic manufacturers are not exactly the quickest on lead times.
That is true.
So
that is I don't know if anybody seen it out there, but it's something that I think I'm going to have to pick up.
I'm destined to pick up the X57. I know you guys said that that's probably a longer term project. Has that changed in any way?
No, it's
No,
probably
it
gonna be
hasn't,
first quarter 2025. You might see
Mhm.
something almost ready to go at SHOT Show next year. I mean, Justin, would you just agree with that?
No, I mean we have running models now that are 3D printed, and I mean the ones that SHOT Show ran. But again, it's when you go into mass production and you're waiting on that plastic manufacturer, it's going to take a while. I mean, we could have probably turned it in the week after SHOT Show to be done, and it still wouldn't have been done by the end of the year.
Oh, gotcha.
It's a lot longer, just because there's so many companies competing for those plastic machines' time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just not gun companies either.
Right, yeah. I mean, we own machines to do metal all day, but plastic we haven't gotten into yet.
Yeah, I know a plastics guy that
Or polymer, I should say.
Yeah, it's all plastic. Polymers.
I say polymer.
Yeah, that looks sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked a lot of you like guys retro rifles, which is really cool. The retro stuff. I just like retro rifles. All the H&R stuff.
I'll have to second Barton Fink's comment about making 5.7 ammo affordable. That's a big deal.
Yeah,
Appreciate
I'm
it.
thinking about getting a H&R retro M16A1 style.
You should. That thing's awesome.
Yeah, but then again, water heater, furnace.
Yeah.
Oh,
You also
Crumb,
have
just
to
sell the
decide if
family
you wanna
jet.
Yeah. You also have to decide if you want to be truly clone correct and get the 1 in 12 or the 1 in 7 and shoot modern ammo.
No, you gotta be clone correct.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a retro mod guy.
Yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, I do want to eventually make a retro of a Car 15.
We got you covered.
Yeah, that would be awesome. The Car 15 is awesome.
I think I know the answer to this question. Do you guys have a bidding process for machine work? You're doing most of that in house, right?
Yeah,
we
almost
do
all
it
our
all.
machine work is done in house, so we don't have to bid. That's kind of why we have set up our own machines. Same thing with anodizing. That was a big step. Is once we started machining things, we were still in a wait process for anodizing. So we took the time to set up our own anodizing line, so we don't have to deal with other people's lead times. That's kind of why we're able to produce as much as we do.
How many?
I think we got
Go ahead.
I think we got the question right, but just in case, bidding process. Sometimes people want us to manufacture their stuff. We only manufacture our stuff. We keep it in house. We don't have any type of bidding or anything for people to manufacture other people's firearms parts.
Yeah.
How many AR-15s do you guys sell a week?
I don't know about a week. I know at peak we've expanded a little since then, but at peak we were turning out about 2,500 ARs a day. That wasn't selling though; that was manufacturing, and we're still pretty close to that number now.
Yeah,
is that 5 days a week?
It's 11,000 uppers and 10,000 lowers a week.
Okay,
that's a lot of uppers and lowers.
Yeah. And then pistols, I know they're cranking out about 1,000 to 1,500 daggers a day.
Wow!
And a similar number on the micros.
That's a lot. That's a lot. I'm proud of you guys for doing what you guys have been doing.
Yeah.
And it's good to see good people actually making a difference and succeeding. Any ideas of an HK21A1 clone? Barton Fink wants to know.
Probably on a whiteboard.
Probably on a whiteboard. I would love to get a picture of that whiteboard.
There's many whiteboards. It'd probably be a whole picture. No, I mean we've talked about just about every gun that's ever been made about doing something similar. It's just finding the time on the engineers and finding out what is going to do the best. But there's whiteboards all over the company that have ideas written on them, and it's fun to go look at them, but that doesn't mean they're all going to get made.
So there's like ideas that are like 20 years out. There's so many. I mean, there's whiteboards. Every building, there's a whiteboard. I mean, and there's a lot of buildings. There's multiple whiteboards within some buildings.
So it's not for a lack of ideas. It's just for lack of bandwidth.
Yeah, I mean, we've hired a lot of engineers. I mean, our engineering department is massive. We've hired a lot to be able to manufacture what we what the consumer wants.
Yeah.
But I guess you got to prioritize it like ROI and then what the market will purchase.
100%.
How many units the market will purchase. That's got to be a big deal.
Yeah,
100%.
like if you guys produced a World War II Liberator clone, I would buy it, but I would probably be the only one to buy it.
Yeah.
So you have to look at what actually will sell.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of cool guns that people want to see, but not all of them are feasible because the market isn't big enough to support it.
Yeah.
So I got a question. You just like that the Steyr AUG I have here. That price is unheard of. How do you manage to get those prices?
Quantity is the best way. I mean, we have a lot of very good relationships with industry partners like Steyr. And it's mainly due to, we don't price gouge. We try to give people an affordable price to get more people into the shooting industry. So, just by moving the amount of quantity we do, we're able to get better pricing.
Yeah, that's
Crump and I, we got one of those, and we both got the 9mm pistol.
Nice.
Yeah, the Steyr 9mm. That's actually really
nice.
Yeah, but it's people like Dorian, the guy that mentioned Dorian earlier. It's people like Dorian that are establishing these relationships and able to bring these great deals to you guys.
Yeah, I mean it's
now are the deals primarily like I think it was, I don't know, November, December. I was dropping I think $1,000 a week with you guys. I got the Steyr AUG. I've got
the AP5.
AP5. Oh yeah, that dude. That's in my brief. Actually AP5 right here.
Yeah, we got AP5s, Steyr AUGs, a bunch of stuff. I don't know. It was you guys just ran some deals,
crazy deals. Yeah.
Every time the phone rang, I'd say, Rich, I'm like, oh god, there's another $500 to $1,000.
Yeah, we work out a lot of good deals. Like we worked out the deal with Century with the AP5, and we just work out, quantity, and be like, hey, we want to offer it at this price, and we work out deals, and people have, companies have really jumped on board because they want to keep their machines, during slow times, they want to keep their machines running. Their people run, 40 hours plus a week for their people, and we can help do that.
Let me ask you a question. Do you guys stock up on like the flow times? Like, that you can get great deals on AUGs, for example, because the gun market's slow. Do you guys stock up for when
Not
the time?
Really. No, my brother is not one to sit on inventory. He's gonna get it and liquidate it. Not liquidate, in a clearance sense, but he's gonna get it and sell it. Get it and sell it. He's not one to sit on any inventory.
Yeah, there's two different theories behind that. That's probably the one that, because when you sit on inventory, you're bleeding money.
Yeah, that costs you money just to keep it.
Yeah, like say before, when everybody thought Hillary Clinton was going to get elected, let's say he went out and bought 1 million PMags.
A lot of people did.
500,000 drum AR mags. He went and bought a bunch of Beta C mags. He went out and bought a bunch of stuff. If he had done that, and then Trump got elected, you'd be screwed.
Yeah,
so you got to be careful about that.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of companies did do that, though. And then you saw these liquidation sales after the election.
Yeah.
I cleaned up, man.
Yeah.
Well, that's I think the message right now is prices are low on ammo, on AR lowers, and
They're low on everything right now.
so now's the time to scoop it up, so you don't look in the rearview mirror and say, "Oh, I remember when 9mm ammo is 19 cents a round." It's like that's the time right now.
Yeah, because there hasn't been much rhetoric as far as politics and stuff, but once that rhetoric starts to bump up, then things start to go crazy. So we haven't seen things go crazy yet, but who knows when that's going to start? We know it will start at every election cycle. It starts, just a matter of when.
Yeah, it's just timing it. So, and it's kind of hard to predict when it's going to kick off. But when it kicks off, it seems like everything teeters on the edge, and then like a slight breeze blows, then everyone falls off the edge.
Exactly.
Well, I'm kind of I'm a bit of a news junkie, and I'm like, well, we had COVID, we had the BLM riots, I'm like, what are we in for this summer? And I'm like, is it PLO protests at campuses? What's going to be the summer long du jour? Panic du jour.
Well, there wouldn't be PLO protests.
Yeah,
because
or could be chickens snorting coke. We don't know.
Is that a Keltec joke? Is that a Keltec?
No, that was just a dumb example. But there's all. We talk about that all the time. What's the next thing going to be? And we come up with random shit.
I'm hoping for zombies still.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, the zombie apocalypse is the dumbest thing ever. Zombies. Okay, let's take away humans with their brains. Bites are terrible transmitter of disease, and everyone else is armed. It would take like 2 days. I'd just sit inside, play my PlayStation or something for 2 days, and God, everything would be over. Yeah. No, but what I was saying, Rich, is PLO and Hamas, they're kind of enemies. So.
Oh, all right.
It would be kind of.
I just figure enemy of my enemy is my friend.
No, those guys hate each other.
Oh, all right.
More than Israel.
Hence why I live in South Florida.
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely cool. You guys have a lot of cool products. They're good quality products. They run. They're not white labeled Turkish shot. You guys do sell Turkish shotguns, but you're not rebranding them as PSA shotguns.
Yeah, I need to pick up a micro dagger.
Yeah,
that's on my list.
It's a sweet little gun. I've shot quite a few of them lately. They're fun.
Yeah, are you guys going to expand to anything else? I know you guys expanded into like magazines. You guys expanded into ammunition, concealed carry protection. Are you guys looking to expand it in any other industry adjacent to firearms, or not even adjacent to firearms?
Absolutely. There's some others that are on the list that probably, in time we'll be able to talk about and stuff. But my brother's always looking at buying companies, and it'll always be 2A centric. But we're working on a lot of different things.
Yeah, I figured you guys were. It seems like you guys are really good at doing that. As acquisitions. So your brother's like the brains behind that? The looking at companies and stuff?
Yep, he is.
Smart guy.
He is. To an extent. No, I'm just joking.
You're hurting Josiah right now.
I got to give him some shit. So.
Yeah, hey, you're a smart guy too, Josiah.
I don't know about that either. My ex-wife would disagree.
Ooh.
I think a lot of people, ex-wives, would disagree with that. I think a lot of ex-husbands would disagree with if I said their ex-wives were smart. So just go with the territory. Yeah. All right, guys, we've been on for like an hour. I got to go cook dinner tonight.
I got Bible study.
My family. And but I do want to thank you guys for coming on. You can go to Palmetto State Armory. I'm not going to say that the main the 3
letters after the dot.
Yeah. I can't communicate that to you guys because of YouTube, but if you read between my communications to you guys should be able to figure it out. And I'm pretty sure that everyone out there watching, if you're watching this show, PSA. So, but yeah, definitely check them out. They're good guys. They're really good to the community. And with that, I think we're going to wrap up. I'm going to give the final word to Justin and Josiah. So,
thanks for having us on. We appreciate it, and we're gonna go and relax as well. But thanks for having us on.
Yeah, sorry I missed the gathering. I was recovering this year.
Oh yeah,
from SHOT Show.
At least Rich came.
Yeah, and got meningococcal pneumonia that was like antibiotic resistant, and got
excuses.
Life-threateningly ill.
We're gonna need a doctor's note.
Yeah, I know.
His wife's a doctor.
I'll go get one really quick. Military.
I won't believe it.
She's probably a podiatrist or something.
Nah, she's
like Dr. Jill Biden.
But she's military, so people, you married a doctor. It's like she's military, man. They still don't get. They're not. It's not like civilian pay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But yeah, she likes to give back, and she wants to support the country. From a family of immigrants from Italy. So she wants to support the country that gave her family refuge and a home from Italy. So she joined the military because of that.
That's awesome.
All right, guys, that is it. We'll see you tomorrow. And Rich, I got an email I got to send to you with a possible guest and everything.
Okay, cool.
And with that, we are out of here. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you guys later. Bye.